Hi, it's Noel McCardle from The Fluff is Raging, and I want to talk about the new Brad Pitt World War II film, which is called Fury, which is directed by David Ayer. And it's actually not a bad film. It's when I saw the trailer for this, I put a review in the blog where I called it "Tanking Private Ryan." And now that I've actually seen the film, it turns out that was actually a fairly decent prediction. This is an awful lot like Saving Private Ryan, only taking place in a tank. It's a men behind enemy lines movie. It's a men on a mission movie. It packs in practically every cliche imaginable from World War II films, but it also tries to be gritty and like an anti-war film. But it also has characters and makes speeches about the importance of sacrifice for the greater good. It's got a pretty good cast actually. They're all quite good. They're all doing a decent job. I'm going to talk about Brad Pitt first of all. He's the star of the film. He's also one of the film's producers, and he's rather good in a fairly kind of underwritten, stock character, World War II character role. He is the tank commander, and he wants to make sure that his men, make it home safe and sound. And of course, well, this isn't really a spoiler. It is a war film. That doesn't quite happen the way he plans. Um, he's an odd character though because he's not really a clean cut hero. He thinks nothing of shooting a German prisoner, for instance. But at a later point in the film, he actually prevents a rape. So it's kind of a curious film in that respect that it's got this character of that Pitt plays that's a standard, American hero, but who's also this kind of, like wounded, morally wounded and morally compromised, but who will still, do the right thing when the time comes, and of course, will make a last stand. And the actual final act of the film concerns the guys in the tank making a final stand against, a whole battalion of SS troops. Um, the film also co-stars Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is this kind of very odd character. In many ways, he's kind of set up as the film's conscience. He says things like, you wouldn't believe the things I've seen, the things that men will do, when they're, pushed to the brink. He's also this kind of Bible quoting, Bible thumping character. In fact, actually, his nickname is Bible. And the film has that awful Hollywood cliche where a character quotes something from the Bible, another character identifies chapter and verse what it is. I was unaware that Hollywood had so many Bible scholars in it. It's So the buff is actually quite good. He's rocking a serious porn stash in it, and he's trying to look like a grown up. And I'm almost embarrassed to say I actually quite I liked his performance in it. And I'm really not a fan of his at all. And I find him, generally speaking, a rather insincere actor. But he's quite good here. And again, it's a fairly cliched character. It also co-stars Michael Pena, who is never anything less than watchable and is always very, very good. And he, of course, was in the other film that David Ayer made, the one with him and Jake Gyllenhaal, where they were two LA cops traveling around. So he's very good in it. And John Bernthal, you'll recognize, he was Shane in The Walking Dead, and he's kind of set up, basically, he's Private Wiseass. But he's also, the character who's like the unpredictable, could go off any second, and is carrying a lot of kind of, righteous or unrighteous anger. There's a scene and it's kind of set up to make you think he's about to rape a girl. And it doesn't do that though, because the Pitt character puts his foot down. But it also doesn't do that because it's not that kind of film. Like, it doesn't want to be the kind of film, where the Allies would commit, horrific, war crimes. With the exception of the Pitt character, who, as I say, is this kind of, this uh, not quite a cliched hero, and who thinks nothing of shooting a prisoner. The audience stand-in, the character who is our sort of point of view to the action, is played by Logan Lerman. Actually, I have to look him up. His face was familiar, but he was many years ago, several years ago, he played Christian Bale's son in 3:10 to Yuma. And so he's the rookie, he's the guy who's got no experience in a tank whatsoever and doesn't want to be there. And of course, by the end of the film, he would have like found his courage and he found his humanity, and will be utterly affected by the events that he's gone through. So in many ways, he's playing a character very similar to the character that Jeremy Davies played in Saving Private Ryan. It's quite gory. Then again, it is a war film. But as I say, it's a kind of a strange film. Like it's a big Hollywood spectacle. It's a big Hollywood autumn movie. It's an event movie. But it also kind of wants to make sort of anti-war statements, and at the same time have characters, who make an awful lot of speeches about, sacrifice and, the greater good. It always helps, of course, when you've got your baddies are Nazis. There's a film critic from the New York Times, and several years ago, she was talking about a war film, and she made a point that World War II is from the gift that keeps on giving to Hollywood. And I don't like her as a film critic, but I think she was spot on about that. Hollywood will keep on making these kinds of films, whether it's about sailors or airmen or infantry or tank guys, or whatever. So we haven't seen the last World War II film by any stretch of the imagination. So it's called Fury, and it's written and directed by David Ayer, and it's really, really quite good. So I was debating about how I would actually rate it. I'm going to give it 3.5 unexploded shells out of 5. And it is worth seeing. It's got a fantastic sound design. It's well worth seeing. It's very well crafted, very well made. In a different year, not this year, in a different year, you might see Pitt's name. Showing up, when at awards time. I don't think it's going to happen this year, and that's not because he's terrible in the role. He's pretty good, but because this is a very strong year for male performances. Likewise, LaBeouf, it's almost like it's a kind of a in a different year it'll be Oscar bait for Best Supporting Actor, and again I don't think that'll happen for him, but he's young still, so if he can stop doing his weird performance art stuff, he might yet again get taken seriously as an actor. So yeah, Fury, 3.5 unexploded shells out of 5. You can follow me on Twitter at Raging Fluff, or check out the blog. The Fluff is Raging, which is ragingfluff.wordpress.com. And I will see you here on the podcast in a few days when I'm going to be prattling on about something else. And this is Saturday, so if you're at home tomorrow, enjoy the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead, and you can place bets with your friends as to who's going to get killed off.